and stretching and strengthening. The focus is on Udana energy, a kind of ascendant, radiant energy within yoga philosophy that ironically governs the exhale, but also is responsible for growth, our physical growth, our mental and spiritual maturation, even as we age. One interesting thing about it is supposed to be responsible for encouraging babies to lift their heads and look around for the very first time. So we'll do a little bit of that. Have a seat now. You could be on a chair for this first part if you wish, or on the floor. Let the hips be a little higher than the knees, encouraging the spine to have a nice upright flow to it. I'll also be reading today from a poem by Maya Angelou, On the Pulse of Morning. It's a poem that she read at the inauguration of Clinton, actually. Let's settle in and arrive. Letting go of the busyness that brought us here. Bringing our attention to the breath, to the body. Finding the center place of our body, practicing proprioception here, knowing our body in space. Finding the center of the pelvic floor. And above that, the deep center behind the belly button. And the very center of the diaphragm, which is actually part of this Udana energy we're talking about. The center of the diaphragm locating just above the reproductive organs, the center of the pelvic floor. And following that line up, finding your own sense of center through the lungs, up through the heart, the back of the throat, the back of the eyes, up through the middle of the crown. If you have any doubt, just swaying a little bit back and forth, side to side, maybe ribs come back and forth a little bit to find that center. And inviting the breath to channel right up the middle. Let the inhale be to the count of 1, 2, and the exhale a little longer, perhaps to 4. The exhalation of letting go, of surrender, and the realization that growth happens in part by letting go. The exhalation of peace. Maya Angelou writes, "Across the wall of the world, a river sings a beautiful song. It says, 'Come, rest here by my side.' Each of you a bordered country, delicate and strangely made proud, yet thrusting perpetually under siege. Today I will call you to my riverside, if you will study war no more. Come, clad in peace, and I will sing the songs the Creator gave to me, when I and the tree and the rock were one." Take a few more long breaths here, letting the attention be entirely on the breath. And then opening the eyes, looking around, maybe yawning, opening the mouth wide, scrunching one cheek over one way and lips and cheek over the other way, scrunching through the eyes. That's really waking up the face. And then bringing arms to the side. Inhale as we come up. The Udana energy is located in the lungs and also in the throat area and the vocal cords. So we'll be working some on our willpower and self-expression today using Om. And so as you exhale, you might express an Om. Inhale up. Om. Clearing out the vocal cords. And one last time. Om. If you have anything high under your hips, like blocks, move them aside. Although keep a block around, we'll be using it a little later. Bring your arms straight out to the sides. Reach out with the fingers towards the walls on either side. Make sure that the shoulder blades are just resting comfortably along the back, shoulders not hiked up. Inhale, center, and option to exhale, Om. Swiveling from the waist. Inhale, center, exhale, Om. 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 Engaging the core. Om. One more time on each side. Om. Om. And back through center. Plant a hand beside you. Lift up through the other arm, lifting up long through the spine. Inhale up and exhale over. Om. Distributing that curve in the spine equally up through the vertebrae. Inhale up. Om. Inhale, center. Exhale. Om. Reach up. Om. One more time to each side. Om. Om. Bring arms out in front of you and then bend the elbows, bring them back behind the body slightly. Let the shoulder blades squeeze together in the inhale and exhale forward. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale forward. If you'd rather switch the inhale and exhale, that's fine too. Then bring the hands together, interlace the fingers, bring them right under the chin. Elbows are wide. Inhale, and as you exhale, push up through the fingers, up into the chin, and bring the elbows together as gaze rises. Inhale, elbows wide. Exhale, opening up the neck, inviting all the good nutrients to come to the neck, bringing the blood flow there. And one last time. Bring hands down. Let the chin come to the chest and draw a necklace across the chest. Listening to the neck. letting the neck work itself out. If there's any sticky places, just pause there, be gentle with yourself. And you might bring the chin up towards the shoulder and glance over the shoulder. Notice any differences between the sides. Sometimes we have a crick on one side. Now coming back through center, eyes to the horizon. Let the right ear come down towards the right shoulder, just within the range of motion. Relax down through the shoulders. Extend the left arm out in a kind of A frame. Let the thumb be up. Breathing into any tensions that arise in the shoulder or the arm. And maybe raise and lower, just very slightly, just an inch or so, up and down with that arm. Interesting sensations that one feels here. So just feeling in the body, knowing what is where, bringing the head up, and then left shoulder and left ear coming towards each other. Left shoulder is relaxed down, and the right arm comes out, thumb up. Just pausing there for a moment, maybe feeling it across the ridge of the shoulder or in the forearm. And perhaps the hand rises and lowers just a bit. Bring that hand in. Hands come back behind the body. Feet come wide in front of you. Give yourself good support through the arms, up through the shoulders, and let the knees go back and forth, opening up through the hip joints. Let one arm swing round towards the corner in the back, and then the other arm. Maybe a little lift in the hand and the gaze as you come back to that corner. Next time, the option to lift the hips. And the added option to lift the back leg, the back knee, that is. One more time on each side. And come back through center. Bring the legs wide. Point the toes, flex the feet, point, flex, point, flex, waking up the ankles, the feet, the calves, the shins. And then circle with the feet in one direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then back around the other direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the legs just a little narrower V in front of you. Turn your heart towards one of those knees. Let that knee be soft. Hands are on the thighs. Inhale up from sits bone, up through the crown of the head, and then hinging at the bottom of the backbone, come forward just a few inches. Inhale up, exhale over, caring for the spine, keeping an upright spine as you come over. Not asking any more of range of motion than you have to offer. And then switch over to the other side, heart aligned with the other knee, hands on that thigh. Inhale up, tall, long spine, and exhale over an inch or two. Perhaps feeling some good feelings in the lower back. If there's any pain, back off. Then coming up with an upright spine, bring the legs together so they're parallel with each other. Inhale up through the spine, and again, hinging at the bottom of the spine, down by the sits bones. Come forward a few inches, maybe feeling a little more opening in the back of the legs. Knees are as soft as they need to be here. Stay with the upright spine as you come forward, or if you would like to, pause and distribute the distance between the vertebrae as you make a C shape with your spine. Pause for a moment in that C shape, strong through the belly for support. And then before you come up, coming back to a regular curved spine and bringing yourself back up. Bring one leg out to the side. One foot comes along the inner thigh. Walk the hands forward. Hand comes over to the shin or knee or thigh on the extended leg. Other arm reaches up and the chest reaches up towards the juncture of the wall and the ceiling. Imagine a beach ball underneath the underside of the body, and you're curling your spine over that in a very regular way. Inhale up. Again, not hinging extremely in any part of the spine. Spreading that rotation and side bend up through all of the discs, keeping the discs buoyant with their little water balloons inside them. And then switching sides. Walking hands forward, one hand onto that extended leg, other arm reaches up. Imagine the beach ball coming over that beach ball. A little rotation as well as the side bend. Always imagine your spine like a river. A river never makes a sharp right turn or left turn. It's always very gentle curve. And coming back up, let's remove anything that's underneath us. Have a block or book or pillow or blanket near you that you can put under your sacrum a little later. So you can always just fold your blanket and have it there and use that. First, we're going to just roll back and forth a little bit. It might be a good idea if there's any osteopenia or osteoporosis to go onto the side of your back, beside your spine, rather than right on the spine bone, that bone. And just rolling back and forth a few times. One last time. And let yourself come to a lying position on the mat. Take a moment to sink down. A long exhale. Bring the feet up so that they are planted just below the buttocks. Arms cross across the chest with hands coming to the inner eye of the shoulders on each side. Inhale as head and neck lift up and eyes look to the wall on the other side or the knees and come back down. Imagine there's a orange or grapefruit underneath your chin, strengthening through the neck. Option now to raise up and hold for 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back. Next time there'll be an option to do Kapalabhati, which is a sharp exhale, and we'll do it 10 times. Sharp exhale, passive inhale. Inhale with your head down. Exhale, head still down. Inhale halfway. Raise head and begin. And bring your head down. Take a breath, inhaling, and exhale. Inhale halfway, raising the head, Kapalabhati. Bring the head back, and final option to straighten the legs. Do an inhale and exhale here, lying down. Inhale halfway, raise the head, and 10 sharp exhales. Bring the head back. Take a nice long stretch, pulling your wrist up and pushing your heel down on one side. And then pulling up the wrist and pushing down on the heel on the other side. Bringing the knees bent and raised above the hips. Raise the head and the shoulders, giving some support to the head with fingers along the back sides of the skull. One foot reaches out, one knee comes up towards the chest. Nice slow leg extension, drawing in through pelvic floor, engaging the deep abdominal muscles. Option to bring opposite elbow to opposite knee, starting to engage some of the many little muscles that run between the vertebrae and the spine. And 2, 1, bring it down. Allow the feet to remain planted. Lift the head slightly and run one hand down towards one foot on one side and down towards the foot on the other side. The shoulders are kind of arcing. And again, the neck is active. For 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. Bring your fingers back and give a little rub to the back of the neck. Arms come wide from the shoulders. Then interlace the fingers, push up towards the ceiling, through the arms, up through the hands, and then keeping that interlaced fingers, palms up towards the top of the mat. Separate hands, come out to a T, interlace the fingers, palms up, pushing up towards the ceiling, back overhead, and round. One last time, push up and back, and come round. Bringing the arms along the sides of the body. We're going to come to bridge pose, and we'll begin very gently. Inhale as the hips rise, just the hips, as you push into the heels and let the weight come onto the shoulders. Next time you rise, inhale, hips and middle back rise. Bring it down, glute starts to engage as you raise the hips, the middle back, and now the upper back also, and then rolling back down. Next time we'll come up and hold it, hips, middle back, and upper back, making a line from the shoulders through the hips, through the knees, perhaps shoulder blades and shoulders tuck in a little bit more, and hands clasp underneath the buttocks. Engage the femurs, the thigh bones up through the hips, engaging through the pectoral chest muscles as well, pulling them in towards the sternum. For 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. Take a moment for a breath. Then find your blanket and maybe double your blanket, or maybe you have a pillow or a block or a book, and bring it in under your sacrum. So raise the hips up and slide it in underneath there so that the top of it comes around to the waist level. So you've got good support there as you raise your legs up. This is kind of like doing legs up the wall without the wall. And its main purpose is an inversion to allow the nutritious blood and lymph, other liquids of the body, to come down into the core, feeding the heart, the throat, the mind, the brain. I'm pointing and flexing my feet, bringing some blood down through the calves as well. And then you might bring one leg slowly down just to a point that feels right for you, and lift it back up. And then bring another leg down a ways and bring it back up. One more time. And after both feet are back up, you might widen the legs and bring them together. Widen the legs and bring them together. One last breath here. Inhale and long exhale. Bring the feet down. Remove anything that is under the hips. And rolling over a bit, come up. The feet are wide on the mat and arms are back behind the body a bit. Fingers are forward, so you're supporting yourself through those hands, up through the shoulders, and raising up the hips into an up plank, just as far as is right for you. Bring the hips down, give your knees a hug. Come back into the up plank position, raise up through the hips, and give yourself a hug. One more time. Next time we'll come up into up plank, then bring the hips back in between the hands, legs are straight, flex the ankles, lift up through the spine. Bring the feet to the outside of the mat, lift up through the hips. Hips come back between the hands, straighten legs, flex the ankles and lift up through the crown of the head. And one last time, lifting up and coming into Dandasana. And then we'll bring our bodies over and come into a tabletop position. Let your spine be like a river, stationing your hands under shoulders and knees under hips for good support, and then allowing the tailbone to rise slightly, stomach sinks slightly, reaching out through the collarbone. So during this cat-cow, keep the spine long. As you come through middle, lengthen thighs back and collarbone forward so that the cat and cow bends are distributed quite smoothly, allowing the spine to remain silky and long. Coming back through center, bring the weight into one hand. Let's do the left hand and the right knee. The right arm and left leg stretch out, come in under the belly. Inhale, find length. Exhale, coil. Inhale, stretch. And exhale, come together. Now bring a fist out in front, thumb might be up, and toe might come back and rest on the earth, or it might lift up. And we're holding here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bring it in. So here we're strengthening the back. When we were lying on our back, we were strengthening the front. All of these muscles important for support for the spine. So I'm lengthening out, coiling under on the other side now. Lengthen out, coil under. And one last time, lengthen out and coil under. Now bring a fist forward. Toe might be on the earth or it might be lifted up. Holding there, strong, low and level back for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and bring it back. Lift one knee, bring it up towards the elbow, stretch it back, cross over, and let the gaze come around to meet the toe. Pausing for a moment to enjoy that rotation. Knee comes up to elbow, back, across, and gaze meets that toe. One last time on that side. Bring that knee back. Other knee rises up towards the elbow, stretch back, crosses. Notice where you feel this rotation. Knee comes up to elbow, reaches back and crosses. It's a little longer and affects the side waist and the hip in a little different way than our rotations usually do, because we're floating in midair. It allows some other things to happen. Now we're going to come down onto our belly. Bring your chest close down to the earth like a baby. Hands are under shoulders or just a little above. We'll see a ladybug climbing on the floor, crawling on the floor in front of us, and we'll follow it like a baby might across the floor, up towards the place where the wall meets the floor, and up the wall just to the extent that you can lift your head. So a good next exercise here, following the ladybug, a little bit up the wall, bring the ladybug back, and the chin might come to the chest. One last time. Bring that ladybug back home. Then weight into the hands that are a little bit farther out to the side, and use that Udana energy of the baby who begins to lift his or her head and begins to look around a little bit, employing not only your arm muscles, but also the muscles of your back and your front. And as you look from side to side, maybe coming up just a little bit higher. Imagine the innocence of your eyes as you look around at the world anew. And then come back down. Arm comes along the side. Lengthen back through one leg, then lengthen back through the other leg. The tailbone lengthens down towards the area between the heels. Crown reaches up, so you're very long. And then inhale as head, shoulders, and legs rise, and arms rise, fingers and toes reaching back. Breathing. One more inhale and exhale. And bring it down. Hands come under the shoulders, tuck the toes, push up. Bring the weight back above the heels. Knees are quite soft as we come into downward dog. Fingers are widespread. Weight into the hands, engaging through arms and shoulders. The outer edges of the arm, tucking down a bit, employing the muscles in the shoulder blades. So shoulder blades initiate the coming together, though they don't really do it, but they're strong, engaged, and the front of the chest is also engaged. Pedaling the legs in this very active downward dog posture, and then coming forward into plank. Knees can be down or up for 3, 2, and 1. Elbows come close, knees come down. A little cobra. Inhale back up. Press back. Coming forward through plank. 3, 2, and 1. Elbows in, knees down, and a little cobra. Coming up into downward dog once again. Bring the weight back over the feet. One leg reaches up behind, then bring your weight forward and bend the knee under the belly. Inhale up, exhale, coming forward a bit. Inhale up, exhale forward. Change feet, Other leg comes up, bends in under the belly. Inhale up, exhale forward. And always able to modify downward dogs if you wish by coming onto your forearms. Let's do that now. Our hands clasp, arms come onto the forearms, reaching up through the hips. And option here to walk forward a bit. Head might come into the hands. So the back of the crown might come in to the cradle of the hands as you walk the feet forward and bring the hips up. All of this is optional. And then walking back and coming down. Let's come into a knee down lunge. Bringing the weight from the hip right down into that knee and bringing some force through the shin so that your leg is taking on some of the powering of this pose and it doesn't come all up into your psoas, into your inner abdominal muscles. And front knee is over the ankle. Bring the hands back just slightly behind the hips. Fingers are spread. Reach down through the fingers and then reach up through the gaze as you lift the chin slightly and gaze up. Bring the arms forward and then back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Front hand of the hand of the front knee comes to the thigh and the other arm sweeps back, opening up, optional. Om, exercising your voice. Om. I feel like I'm on an opera stage. Om. I don't think they'd hire me. And bring it back. Bring the knees back together. And we'll bring the other foot forward. So coming to a knee down lunge on the other side. Pressing down through that back shin. Making sure you have your balance. Thighs, energy coming in towards the hips. Spread the fingers, reach down through the fingers, gaze rises long through the spine. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale. Inhale forward. Exhale. Hand comes to the front thigh. Inhale as the other arm opens up into a twist. Om. 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 And bring it back. We'll come up to a standing position now. Coming to the front of your mat. First, feeling your feet underneath you. Feeling the mounds under the toes, feeling the heels. A sense of the weight of the hips coming down into the center of the heels and across to the mounds of the big toe. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward, knees are soft. Hips rise, dangling down through lower back, middle back, and upper back. Hands come to shins. Inhale, extend forward through the spine. Exhale, down. Inhale, swing arms up and overhead and back to heart center. Hands come to the hips. Bring the left leg back into a high lunge. So there's a little bit of space in between the heels. All toes are forward. Finding your balance here, hips aligned across, and raise through the heel of the back foot. Spine remains upright. Keep the weight coming down into that front foot, finding your balance as you raise and lower, enlivening the calf. And then coming to your stable high lunge. Straighten the front foot just a bit and let the hands rub down over the thigh. And maybe they just come to the thigh this time as your body comes forward, coming towards parallel with the earth in a pyramid pose. Plant the back foot as you need to, and this time you might come down a little bit farther as you open up through the back of that leg. Inhale up, and one last time, coming over in this, what's sometimes called a runner's stretch, and coming back up. Now bring the hands back behind the buttocks. Fingers are interlaced, reaching down, so we feel the arms pulling the shoulder and shoulder blades down. Stay in this high lunge here with the knee, front knee bent over the ankle. And we'll come into yoga mudra, where we lift the arms just as much as is right for you as the torso comes forward. So you might just have a tiny lift or perhaps no lift at all. So always taking into consideration the experience of shoulders and hips and knees. If it is feeling good for you to raise the arms up a little bit more, option to do so. And one last time, coming over, finding your version of yoga mudra, and come back up. Hands come to the waist, bring the feet together. Other foot comes back into high lunge. Come up onto the toes. Front knee is over the ankle. Hips are aligned horizontally, and then up and down with the heel, keeping that upright spine. Then planting the back foot as you wish, front leg straightens, and we'll come hands down onto the thigh, bringing the torso forward. Inhale up, exhale forward. Hands might rub a little farther down the leg. Torso might come a little farther down. Inhale up, and one last time. Opening up through the back of that leg, keeping whatever bend in the knee is necessary, not overstretching. We don't want to have any tears at the top of the hamstrings. Then coming up and coming into high lunge once again with the knee bent in front, hands clasped behind at the buttocks, reaching down. Inhale in this position and exhale over. Inhale up, inviting the shoulders to know themselves, to know how they're feeling, and communicate that, and we are listening. And bring it back up. Bring the feet together. Original foot comes back. I'm going to come into a warrior one here, gradually. Back foot might be at about 30 degrees, but find a comfortable place between your hip and your knee and your ankle. Open the arms back behind the body a bit with palms forward, coming into peaceful warrior. So as the poem says, we come clad in peace, like a river. We may now sit down and come and rest by the river. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, back into peaceful warrior. Inhale, up. Exhale, back. This time we're going to bring arms up, extend up through leg, up through the side of the body, the front of the body, long through hips and torso, and then opening from the sternum up through the pelvis, shoulder blades squeezing together, long spine. Keep that silky smoothness in the spine. Hands come down. Inhale up. Establish that long, find your length in the spine, and open in the front of the body. Little tuck in the chin to protect the neck, and come back down. Hands come to the hips, bring that foot forward, and other foot comes back. Aligning the body, finding your balance, coming into peaceful warrior. Hands are open to the front. Listening to the song of the river. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, back along the side, peaceful warrior. Inhale, arms up. Lift up through the hips, through the torso, up through fingertips, and opening with that smooth, silky spine, feeling the back bend, particularly through the shoulder blades, and coming back down. One more time, inhale up, lift up, long spine, and then find that length of the spine opening towards the front, and bring it down. Hands on the hips and bring the feet together. We're going to be coming into Warrior Two now. So finding your Warrior Two pose, toes forward to the front of the mat, back foot at about 30 degrees, and right behind the heel this time. You might be more narrow, you might be farther apart. And we're going to exercise our vocal cords and our lungs as we do this, or option to do so. Inhaling as hands come up the center, exhaling as we channel the energy out through the fingers, out from the heart. Inhale up. Beginning, middle, end. Now on the inhale, preparing the forearm to come down onto the front thigh. Other arm comes up. Inhale up. Inhale up. That top hand comes down onto the thigh. Inhale up. Inhale, Warrior Two. Exhale. And back through Warrior Two. Hands come to the hips. Turn the toes so that they are forward, and then bring the feet in. Take a breath. And come into Warrior Two on the other side. Again, finding the stance that is right for you. Feeling the feet firmly on the ground. Inhale. Exhale. Aum. Aum. Preparing for side angle on the inhale. Aum. 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 Hand comes down the back thigh. Inhale up. Aum. Inhale, warrior two. Aum. Aum. Coming back through warrior two, taking a breath. Bring hands to the waist and let the toes come slightly pigeon-toed. Hands come down to the hip creases. Torso comes parallel to the earth. Hands come down. You might have a block there to meet them, or they might be fingertips or hands on the earth. Let the hips rise. Push out through the sides of the feet. Knees not locked, but firm. And dangle down a minute, relaxing down, decompressing through the spine. Walk the hands over to one ankle and lift up. Bring it down, come across, and lift up on the other side. And bring it down. And we'll be coming back into a lying position to end today. Keep a block or a blanket near you. We'll put our feet up in just a moment. Finding the mat, finding the earth. Taking a breath, settling in. Then bending the right leg and planting that foot. Bring the left leg into a figure four, ankle on thigh. Option to raise that leg for a figure four stretch. Relaxing down through the hips, letting the shoulders be soft, jaw, tongue, and throat relaxed. Perhaps coming back to that long exhale. Flex both feet as if they were up against a wall, and option to bring the foot that is in the figure four position down towards the earth. It might land on the earth, or you might uncross and come into one leg stacked on the other kind of twist for a moment. If you're still in the figure four, you can bring that leg a little closer towards the waist if you want more stretch. Being careful of the range of motion of the hips, and then bring it back up through center. Left foot is planted, right foot becomes the figure four leg. Lift that leg if you would like, giving some room to the sciatic nerve as we stretch the piriformis muscle. And coming back to the long exhale. Relax down through the thighs and the calves. Option now to come over into a twist, bringing that figure 4 foot down towards the earth. Perhaps that foot comes down onto the earth, or perhaps the legs untwine and stack on top of each other. Finding your version of twist here, sinking your hips down, your skull, your shoulder blade. And then coming back through center. Find your blanket or pillow, block or book. You can always just simply stay flat on the mat as well, so that's always an option. But if you're bringing one of those, put that underneath your sacrum for good support. And raise the legs up. Allowing yourself the long exhale, the profound relaxation of this pose. Take 5 or 6 more breaths. Just coming to rest here by the river. One last breath in this position. Bringing the feet down, raising the hips, taking out whatever prop you might have underneath the hips. Give the knees a hug. Making yourself any intention for the day. Staying here and relaxing if you would like, or rolling over and coming up into a sitting position. Let's close with an Om, bringing ourselves together. Inhale. Namaste. I hope the Udana energy of growth and exhalation can be with you.